Jem and the gang are being helicoptered into King of the Hill country, which I guess is just Texas, but come on. Look at this Hank Hill-looking motherfucker. If he doesn't tell me what by the end of this half hour, I'll eat his cowboy hat. But folks, the World Hunger Foundation is working toward the day when nobody has to eat a hat to survive. And to reach their $8 million goal, the foundation has brought in English teen idol Sean Harrison. But never mind that, because here come some celebrities you've actually heard of. Why, it's Jem and the Holograms, performing their new We Have a Social Conscience song, We Can Make a Difference. Not to be confused with the We Have a Social Conscience song from the last episode, which was called People Who Care. Trust me, I just went and looked it up because seriously, they're basically the same song, and I honestly can't tell if the crowd is deeply unimpressed or just animated poorly. The band wraps up their song and meets the lady who organized the event, and Kimber gets hit on by English teen whatever, that guy. Which, look, I'm glad Jem's not the only one who gets a love interest on this show, but maybe it's time for one of the non-Kimbers to get a turn? Jem pretends she has a cold so she can turn back into Jerrica and hang out with purple-haired boyfriend, who's definitely not about to get beat up for wearing a crisp new cowboy outfit that he just bought at a mall in Fort Worth. Then the Misfits and Eric show up in one of those stupid Cadillacs with the bullhorns on the front and invite themselves to be part of the titular shindig. Oh, wanting to participate in this charity event? They're so evil. Because they're a late entry, they're told that they won't be featured on the live album unless some other act drops out, which, okay, now they have an opportunity to do a little evil, I suppose. I do take issue with Eric describing them as unconventional, though. Personally, I'd pitch them as basically the same as Jem and the Holograms, except they don't suck. And it appears Eric still has this henchman who does all his dirty work for him. I originally thought this was some ridiculous flight of fancy like Synergy's kooky holograms, but I'm pretty sure every record exec had one of these in the 80s. But not anymore, because now they have like 2 or 3 of them. Kimber spends some more time with... Okay, I'm sorry, that is not an English accent. I don't know what that is.
Can you charm the birds from the air then?
It seems almost tame.
Have you got this way with all animals?
Some.
Then come with me on the trail ride. I know nothing about horses.
Then he leaves with Cowboy Paul F. Tompkins, and the ladies in the band are kidnapped by banditos. Banditos who are easily fooled by holograms. Idiots. Then somehow the least English man who ever lived ends up with the Misfits in a cowboy bar. The crowd demands a song from him, so naturally the Misfits sing one instead. It's called Gimme Gimme Gimme, and, well, look, songs about being an asshole are pretty much always better than songs about being nice. That's just science. Then Pizzazz nearly runs her car into a hay cart that Jem and the Holograms just happened to be on. Not because of any dastardly plan, but just out of pure coincidence. Well, sure, this sort of thing happens all the time in Texas. I guess because it's just so dang small. Eric yells at his goon for failing to murder the holograms, I guess, but the goon assures him that it'll be taken care of.
I'll take care of everything tomorrow, right here at the Astrodome.
I don't really know what that means either. And why did he say Astrodome so menacingly? The band are led into a door backstage with their names hastily scrawled on it in what appears to be white crayon. "This is fine," they all chant in unison. Then they're locked in, which, in their defense, nobody could possibly have seen coming. Meanwhile, purple-haired boyfriend is moping because of how hacky the whole secret identity device still is. I really need to get over that if I intend to review all 65 episodes of this show, but also, come on. When have you ever known me to get over anything? The holograms escape their backstage jail with the assistance of holograms and die hard their way through the air vents. No broken glass, though. This is a kids' show after all. They do get caught in a whole weird backstage maze a la Spinal Tap, but then they make their way onto the stage so they can perform another do-gooder dud entitled Share a Little Bit of Yourself. This band is like one more wholesome song away from rebranding as Christian rock. Then Eric gets caught stealing a bunch of money, which means Africa can get fed now. Like, did you ever wonder why that entire continent was starving until about 1986, when everything suddenly became completely fine? Now you know what happened. People like to say these shows are just crass toy commercials, but they just dropped a history lesson on you. Now if they could just teach that English guy what English people sound like. Oh, and the episode ends with what I thought was yet another social conscience song, but it just turned out to be a second showing of We Can Make a Difference. And that's so much more evil than anything the Misfits or Eric ever did.